I lost over 30 kilo of body fat in less than 12 months by following this exact cardio method. Now, before I get into that, let me talk you through a little bit about me, who I help, and how I can help you. So over the last 2 years, I've run an online fitness business where I've coached 100 plus men to transform their health and fitness using this exact cardio method. Now, this is things that people pay for, and I'm going to teach you this for free. The reason being is because my goal and my mission with this company is to provide as much value as possible. Hence why I'm now navigating into other platforms like YouTube, Spotify, LinkedIn, etc. Over the last 2 years, I've specialised in helping men in their 20s and their 30s who have felt low in confidence, some have been on medication for like depression, anxiety, mental health problems. This version of themselves has not only felt like that, but the way they've felt has meant their quality of life is low. They've been unhappy with themselves. That's shown up at work, in relationships. Ultimately, they're unhappy with who they are. Hence why they've reached out for help. They felt stuck. They felt like there's no way forward. They've tried every method. And that's when they had the conversation with me. That's what's helped to transform my clients who are business owners, busy male professionals, people like Thomas, Alex, Danny, Luke, etc. The list goes on. There's so many clients that we've managed to go from here to feeling confident in themselves, feeling confident in the way they look, being able to not only show up better for themselves by building a health and fitness routine that works for them, allows them to lose body fat, transform their physique, and actually build like a lifestyle that allows them to sustain that. But by doing that, it's allowed them to be a better version of themselves, not only by the way they look and the way they feel, but how they perform. They show up better at work, they show up better in relationships, they're better for the social responsibilities they carry. They're a role model to their kids, they're a role model to their siblings, their partner, etc. And it's allowed them to have completely different lives. Maybe now in the workplace, some of my clients have now improved themselves and allow them to progress in their career too. Now, that's enough about me and who I help. Let me talk you through the exact cardio method that's helped me and my clients to lose body fat, and not only lose the body fat, but also to sustain that. Now, I've got a 2-step framework. It's nice and simple, but let me break this down for you. But first of all, why don't you just not do cardio? Like, some coaches say that you don't need cardio. I'll teach you how to lose fat without doing a single minute cardio. But I just don't agree, and let me tell you why. Now, you could, if your goal is to get a good physique and you want to have, I don't know, bigger arms, whatever, you could pump bicep curls until your arms fall off. But the most important muscle in your body, if you're focused on health and ultimately high performance, which a lot of my clients are, and the people that I want to work with are, then you need to focus on the most important muscle in your body, which is your heart. What's the point in being big, being strong, if you're out of breath when you try and tackle the stairs every morning to work? Like, in my opinion, it makes no sense. Your fitness is important, not just the way you look, but the way you feel. And having a healthy body, having a fit body, a healthy heart, is really important, in my opinion. And my clients would agree. And if you're watching this video, you probably agree too. Now, let me talk you through the 2 types of cardio that I've used with myself and clients. Tip number 1, and this is what you have to be doing, this is a must, is some form of low intensity steady state cardio. Now, to put it simple, this is going to be low intensity cardio, so cardio that's not really challenging. It's around, say, 5-6 out of 10 effort, but you're doing it for a longer period of time. So as an example, with my clients, they may start on 30-40 minutes worth, and they might work up to 60-70 minutes worth of cardio. Of course, it all depends on how much fat you're looking to lose, how much body fat you're carrying, and how long you're in a calorie deficit for. But the old way is people would just care about burning calories and looking at cardio as, right, I'm going to jump on the treadmill and go on an incline walk, the Stairmaster, because I need to just burn calories. However, the difference between that and this is, and what I teach is, instead of doing that, you can use the treadmill, you can use the Stairmaster, but I'm doing this through a system that you enjoy. So I allow my clients to be really flexible. I'm saying that if you want, there's no issue with you going on a hike with your family, your friends, your partner. Now, the reason being is because when this exercise feels relatively challenging, when you're on a Stairmaster, all you're thinking about the whole time is my legs hurt, when's this going to end, etc. When you then start to socialise and you have your family, your partner, or maybe you just go alone, you start to focus on other things rather than your legs aching or you feeling a little bit out of breath, a little bit tired. You start focusing when you're on a hike, you start focusing on the people you're spending your time with, the conversations you're having, which are really important. Maybe you're focusing on the nature, the views that you're in, the sounds that you're listening to as you go on a really nice hike. And when I've applied that, and when I've applied that with clients, not only is it massively helped in the short term, because of course your calories are high, you're burning calories, but the key part is you're building an active lifestyle. That's a lifestyle that you're building that's going to allow you to sustain that in the long run, because you start to enjoy going for hikes, you start to enjoy spending time with your loved ones, your partner, your family, and doing it in a way that actually promotes good health because you're being active. So tip number 2 is doing a form of cardio that you enjoy. So what's allowed me to lose the fat and keep it off and still do this form of cardio to this day is boxing. Now, the reason behind that is not just because I'm getting fitter and I'm doing some form of cardio and I'm burning calories, but because I genuinely enjoy it. And because, like tip number 1, where you're thinking about something else and not just the fact that it's quite tiring, your shoulders are aching, you're a bit out of breath, You're focusing on learning a new skill. You're focusing on developing new techniques. And that's what takes your mind off the fact that something's challenging, the fact that you're focused on something else. So by doing that consistently and doing the boxing 2 to 3 times per week, it not only allowed me to get fitter, improve my cardio, and have some form of expenditure that I enjoy, it allowed me to stick with it because I actually got passionate about the sport, learning the skill, and what that sport had to offer for me. I now recommend to every client to do some form of cardio that you enjoy. And it goes back to what we spoke about in tip 1, also a social element. You form like a little bit of a network. You go to a club or maybe you do a different sport, badminton, whatever, and you have friends that you go with, you speak to people, you have like I said, a club, and ultimately it's a form of socialising, and that's what keeps you together, that community. Sometimes you start something for pure benefits and the community keeps you going. So by following tip 1 and 2, low intensity steady state cardio and some form of cardio that I genuinely enjoy and passionate about and want to learn, which would be the sport for me, boxing, them 2 forms of cardio have allowed me to lose 30 kilo of fat in less than 12 months, but also keep it off, hit PBs with fitness that I never thought was possible, run good times or decent times, and achieve a level of fitness that I'm proud of. And obviously actually understand fitness and conditioning to not only apply to myself, but to teach clients. And this is what's been really valuable for clients that have been on a fat loss journey, because ultimately your goal is to build a lifestyle. And guess what happens? When you do 2 forms of cardio that you both enjoy and you become passionate about, you then continue to do that for the long run. And when you're consistent with good inputs that align with fat loss for a long period of time, that's what enables you to be in this deficit for a long period of time and lose body fat as a byproduct. So what I want you to do moving forward is remember this video, and I want you to think, how can you start applying tip number 1 and tip number 2 into your lifestyle to move forward today with a cardio routine that's going to allow you to lose body fat, and not only lose it, but be consistent with that and keep that body fat off you for the rest of your life. Now, I hope you found this video helpful. These are the strategies me and my clients use, and they've been really, really valuable. If you like this style of content, make sure to subscribe to my channel and like this video, and I'll catch you guys in the next video.